Okay, so we're going to be doing some different techniques today with shading. What I want you to work on is this first one we're going to be practicing is called cross hatching. So I want you to first, we're going to do 6 different ones, just draw a circle. Now you could use a pencil, a pen, crayon, whatever you have, and just draw a circle first, okay? And then coming from off one of the sides, I just want you to draw a little bit of a kind of semicircle, oval, you know. Okay, so cross hatching is fun. So on here, because this is just our sketching, what I want you to do is do a couple lines first like this, and then I want you to make kind of your hashtags. After that, you do some diagonals, and then you do other diagonals. And that is all cross hatching is. So you want to think about areas that you want to be dark. I would like this area to be dark. I like this area to be medium, and I'd really like this area up here to be very light. So to help yourself do that, you notice that this got darker the more lines I added to it, where originally we started off like this. Right? The bigger the spacing or the gaps that you have, the lighter the area looks. So this looks lighter and this looks darker. So what I want you to do is focus on from here to about here and about this much space. Let's make this really dark with all these cross hatches. So any way you can, start off with drawing these lines. Nice up and down, straight, vertical lines. Turn them into hashtags. Remember, you can pause my video anytime that you need. And then I want to go on a diagonal. You can have over and over and over again. And another diagonal. So keep going over it. Make it more. Lots of different lines, hashtags, diagonals. Good. So this is really dark here. Now I'm going to go to the medium, do the same thing. Okay. And I'm going to do my diagonals. And I don't want it to go from dark to medium immediately. I want to slowly build it where you add in some small hashtags with the diagonal lines in there, and that helps build it, right? So you just keep working it. I want to leave some areas lighter. You don't have to finish everything in. But this, again, is just practice until you get used to it and kind of leave this area really, really light here. Okay? So there's our start to our hashtags, and you would do the same thing in here. So again, this one is called cross hatching. You can see that's how that looks. A little bit here. So I'm just going to label it cross hatching. And that is one technique to do for shading. Okay, our second technique is one of my favorite ones. We're going to work on scrambling. So again, let's do a circle. It's always easier to work with a sphere. Again, does not have to be a perfect circle. And have your line, you could have it, the shadow of it kind of coming off to this side if you want. Now scrambling. What I like about scrambling is it's just basically these curly cues. That's it. Curly, curly, curly cues everywhere. So I'm going to zoom in for us here. And just like we were focusing on the other side, the closer the scrumbles are together, the darker it is. The further apart the lines are, then the lighter it is. So when you scrumble, just kind of do those spirals any which way, change up the directions. You could do infinities, you could not do infinities. It's just whatever you want. And maybe this one I want to have the lightest part be right here. So make it, it's easier with a pencil. You know, when you're using a pen, you got to think about how to push less and not have things all completely close. My next favorite one is actually called Stippling, and it's a bunch of different dots, and I love stippling. It's my favorite thing. Typically you use a different type of pen, an ink pen with this one, and I have to show you eventually. I have a lot of different art pieces that I've made with stippling. Stippling is, again, the concept of dots. It's literally dots over and over and over again. And I love it with these type of pens. Not this one, but there's a different type of pen. So the closer the dots are together, the darker something looks. Medium, light. Okay? So that is what we do when we go to stippling. I know even on here you're like, where is that stippling, that light? But it's there, I promise. So let's look at going to our stippling piece. So lots of dots. I'm not pushing hard. All I'm doing is just having my dots close together. And this piece, when you stipple, can take longer. If you use a bigger pen, you know, think about the wideness, thickness of different things. It'll take longer. So the closer the dots are. And again, pens, this type of pen is not the best one to show you the exact great way, but darker, and then you get to like medium. And then light. Again, I'm rushing this just to show you how it all works. And you just keep building it more and more and more as you go. And you would do the same thing under here. Wherever something is touching, you always, to get that cool shadow effect, you always want to have it the darkest. Okay? Always the darkest. Sometimes when you angle it down, it's not perfect dots, and it makes these lines. Okay, so that is called stippling. So we've done cross-hatching, we've done scrambling, we've done stippling. You could also do something called contour lines. So contour lines is basically just how it sounds, is contour lines. And it's just lines over and over again. Just like we've done with different illusions. The closer the lines are together, the darker it looks. Further apart the lines are, the lighter it looks. See how automatically it looks darker here versus out there? So I'll zoom in. Okay. And maybe I want up here to be my area. So, you know, you have it nice big, and then you start having them closer. Contour lines, slowly building it. Getting them closer, overlapping if you have to. Okay, so as you can see, that's how you get your contour lines. Now, one of the last things is if you have a pencil, and here's my pencil, and I'll zoom back out for you. So these are 4. There's usually I do 6, but I'm just going to have us do something simple right now. If you have a pencil, and we always talk about the shading with our pencil, this is typical normal shading, is you would do you pushing your pencil hard, right? Similar to the contour, you could start off like this, or scribbling, however, whichever one, the hashtags of those things you like the most. And you can use your fingers to blend, which is something fun to do too. You always want to have a very light area, and then you go back. So you need to have a good dark area, and you need to have a good light area. So medium, kind of play with it. And then you have your light area in here. Okay? And you could have your, however you want, you could do like this, and it goes to medium and light. And there would be your normal, typical shading. Okay? So those are my shadings for you today. And then I want you to, after you practice it, is just make anything using 2 of these and upload those for me.